We are in Parashat Korach, and one of the most important lessons for us to take is found in this parasha. And many people think that the Torah is a history book. Rather, the Torah is a manual, and the Torah is the best guide in the world to teach you how to conduct yourself in this world, to be happy, successful, and so forth, and healthy. And unfortunately, we all possess in us a certain disease, and it's a disease in the soul. I'm saying it on purpose in a very extreme way, that we will hit the essence of our soul. But we do have a little disease on our nefesh, on our soul, and we're all affected by it. And this disease is called jealousy. Jealousy. Kina'ah. So everybody has jealousy in them, and unfortunately, we all have this disease in us. And even Moshe Rabbeinu, the leader of all leaders, the prophets of all prophets, he admitted that he also had jealousy. So if Moshe Rabbeinu had jealousy, then so much more so we have. If one says, I don't have jealousy, then it doesn't mean that it's coming out to the surface. A lot of people can carry a certain disease and it's not comes out to the surface. But we all have at some point some type of jealousy. And there's good jealousy and there's bad jealousy. Everything that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created, he created it to do something positive with it. Kadosh Baruch Hu also created hate. And you can use hate for a very positive thing. Hate can be something negative, hate can be positive. So everything that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created, even the evil things, one can transform it into something positive. But nevertheless, we all have jealousy in us. And like I said, this is something that is new to many. But Moshe Rabbeinu also had jealousy. And where exactly do we find that he had jealousy? That when Moshe Rabbeinu was about to die, then he knew he's going to need somebody needs to replace him. And the Kadosh Baruch Hu told him, it's going to be your servant Yoshua. And call him, bring him into the tent, and you are going to give some of your Ruach HaKodesh to him, and he's going to have to take over. So Moshe Rabbeinu calls his servant Yoshua. Moshe Rabbeinu knows he's about to die, and somebody else is going to take his place. And it's going to be Yoshua. Moshe Rabbeinu, of course, was very happy. But nevertheless, then he invites Yoshua into the tent, and Moshe Rabbeinu has to be excused. So Moshe Rabbeinu leaves the tent. Now it's a first meeting, a first encounter between Hashem and Yoshua. Yoshua comes out, and Moshe Rabbeinu tells him, what did Hashem tell you? Yoshua says, listen, Moshe, I was your servant for 40 years. I was a loyal servant. I did everything that you needed. I never once asked you, what did you talk to Hashem in the tent? I just was quiet, just receiving. Why are you asking me what Hashem talked with me? I never did something like this to you. And right away, Moshe Rabbeinu he felt jealousy. Right on the spot. Wait a minute. It's not only me anymore. Now there's somebody else. I'm done my period of being the king. Now there's going to be somebody else. And Moshe Rabbeinu said at that point, I rather experience 100 deaths than one time being jealous. Moshe Rabbeinu admitted that he was jealous. And he said something very profound. I rather suffer 100 deaths than one jealousy. Now comes, of course, a big question. I also have jealousy, whether you admit it or not. Sometimes I see another person is more successful than me. Sometimes I open up a business, it doesn't work out. The guy on the other side of the street, his business works out. Sometimes my best friend, we grew up together, he becomes very famous, I'm not. Sometimes my best friend, they get married before me, I'm still lagging behind another 10 years, they already have kids. And We all have it in us. I'm not trying to chas v'shalom, insult anybody or to put somebody on the spot, but we possess this jealousy. And you know what? The same that we do have this bad character trait of jealousy, we also have in us hate and anger and many other bad qualities. The point is not to take these bad qualities and to build them, rather to take these bad qualities and to use them to the right thing. You know, it says about an ox is very, very powerful. If he goes into your garden right now, he'll demolish everything. You don't want an ox coming into your garden. But on the other hand, you know, how would you plow a land? With a very strong ox. V'rav tvot b'koach shor. And you can get many produce with the power of an ox. So I also have in me a very negative power of hate, but it's not to hate you, it's to hate the Yetzer Hara that is trying to get me off my path. It's to hate the people who are my enemies. And I have a quality of anger. It's not to get angry at you, it's to get angry at the Yetzer Hara that is trying to get me away from a mitzvah, or to get angry at something that will cause something positive. But of course comes also the quality of being jealous. So if Hashem created jealousy, must be that it needs to be used for something positive. So come now is the question, what do I need to tell to myself in the moment that I have jealousy? And listen, we all have weak moments in our life. I'm standing in a certain situation and I'm looking at somebody else and it can cause jealousy. I live in a house that the ceiling is dripping water all day long, and next to me somebody's building a $3 million mansion. And I'm like, why do I have to be with this broken down home? Or I'm standing in the traffic light and my car is coughing and then stands next to me a beautiful BMW, quiet, don't hear in the engine do any noise. So I'm just throwing some examples, but the point is that at some point in my life I always will going to be faced with some jealousy. And we have to face it, we can't ignore it, we can't live in denial. So what do I say to myself when I experience jealousy? I mean, if I experience anger, I have all sorts of methods to calm myself down. If I have sadness, depression, laziness, there's different things that I can pump myself up. What do I say to myself when there's jealousy? What do I tell myself? Stop being jealous. It's hard. Sometimes it's very hard not to be jealous. Somebody else is doing what you wanted to do. They have unbelievable success and you're not. And many other things. So, what do I need to tell myself to calm myself down when I experience jealousy? Is that I have to learn how to appreciate what I have. Instead of looking what you have, it's not going to change anything if I look at what you have. I have to look at what I have. And when I learn to appreciate what I have, then it takes me away from being jealous from somebody else. This is the general idea. But now let's start a little bit dissecting this whole point of jealousy. And the reason why I'm talking about jealousy, by the way, is because in this week's parasha, you have Korach, and he was jealous of Moshe Rabbeinu. And you know what it caused him to do? He went and slandered him, he went and talked Lashon Hara, he went and made a whole campaign against him, and he made a lot of problems, all because of jealousy. So this is why we're talking about jealousy. That's why I said that this parasha has a very strong message, because unfortunately people, they lose everything they have because of jealousy. Sometimes the jealousy can bring you to places that causes hate and anger, and what jealousy can do. So let's a little bit talk about jealousy so we can dissect it in the proper way to learn something from it. So where do we see the first time in the Torah that there was jealousy? No, this was not the first time. Rather, the first time the snake, exactly. The snake was jealous of Adam HaRishon. He saw Chava, she was very attractive, and he wanted her. And he says, why should he have her? I want her. So let me get rid of him. How am I going to get rid of him? Let me eat, me make them eat from the tree of knowledge. He will die, and I'll take Chava to myself. This is the first time we see jealousy in the Torah. The snake, a little serpent. Well, of course, the snake in the Torah wasn't this little spaghetti that came into the Garden of Eden. He was walking on legs. He looked like a human being. He was just sleek like a snake. He was just had the character traits of being a snake. But nevertheless, when do we see the next jealousy? Like Cain in heaven, what you said. Again, you see jealousy. For what? Why was Cain jealous of heaven? Because they gave an offering, Hashem turned to Hevel's offering, and he liked it more. And Cain got jealous to a point that he killed him. This is what jealousy brings you to do acts like that. Now, needless to say, how many more times in the Torah we find jealousy. But let's fast forward a couple thousand years to our parasha, and we see that Korach was jealous of Moshe. Very simple. And not only that, he was also jealous of Aaron a Kohen. He wanted to be a Kohen Gadol. So the story goes very simple. Korach was a cousin. First of all, he was a first cousin. The father of Korach was Yitzhar. The father of Moshe Rabbeinu was Amram. Amram and Yitzhar are brothers. That's it. First cousins. Moshe and Korach are first cousins. They grow in the same household. They grow together. Same school, same grandparents, same place. And one becomes now the king, the leader of the nation, and another one is not. Now don't think for 1 second that Korach was some bum. Korach was a very, very wealthy individual. Up until today, we use in Hebrew the term, when you want to tell on somebody that is rich, you say Ashir ka Korach. Korach was a multi-millionaire. And where did he get his money? He found the vaults of Yosef HaTzadik. You know, Yosef HaTzadik had all the money of the world. Because Yosef, if you remember, there was 7 years of famine. Everybody from all over the world came to buy food. Who had the money? Yosef. Yosef collected all this money. Now it was money. It was actual coins, jewelry, gold. They didn't have credit cards. It wasn't bank accounts. He didn't have a PayPal account. He had money and gold and treasures. And Yosef technically had almost all the money of the world. Everybody needed food. So Yosef had these massive vaults, and that's where he kept all the money. Korach found it. Korach found it and took it. So he was very, very wealthy. That's where he had money. Now, not only that, so we say Korach was a cousin, first of all. He was very, very rich, and he was a very good politician. He was able to convince half the nation to go on his side. He convinced 250 heads of communities, heads of Sanhedrot, to be with him. Can you imagine what a politician he is? He was able to convince people against Moshe Rabbeinu. So Korach, he wasn't a simple individual, but you see that the jealousy caused him to go against Moshe Rabbeinu, and he also was jealous of Aaron HaKohen. Now, suddenly, out of nowhere, he wakes up. Where was he when Moshe was appointed to be the king? And where was he when Aaron HaKohen was appointed to be a Kohen? And suddenly, out of nowhere, it pops up. Why didn't he object when Moshe came to Mitzrayim? You know, when he was, just imagine, maybe Sarah can help us. How does it call that place in London where everybody comes and they start talking in that park? How is it called?
Oh, the Speaker's Corner.
Yes, Speaker's Corner. Yeah. Everybody goes and they have what to say. So you can't go to the parliament, you go to the park, it's in the park, right?
Yes.
Yes, so everybody comes and they have what to say. So, Hyde Park, exactly. So, also here, Korach had a Hyde Park. He didn't sit in the parliament. So he wanted to say what he has to say. So he went to the Speaker's Corner. Now we have Facebook. Everybody has what to say. They put their junk on Facebook. And people have a stage. Everybody now records themselves. Everybody's walking in the street with a phone and talking. And just imagine the billions of minutes of videos uploaded to YouTube and Facebook with junk. But nevertheless, Korach had what to say. And he wanted to get a stage. And he's standing on a stage and he's selling lies to the people. And he tells them, Moshe is conning us. He's taking everything for himself. He made himself king. He appointed his brother to be a Kohen Gadol. Everything stays in the family. Excuse me, this is mafia. I demand democratic here, democracy. Let's go and make, elections. Let's make elections. Wow, who says that he needs to appoint himself? What is this, communism? And he's standing in his speaker's corner and he's talking a lot of junk, and people believe. A good politician, people believe him. And he comes and stands and he says, why are you letting this man fool you? He just waltzes into Mitzrayim and tells us he's the man, and we all follow him. Now, when you really read between the lines, why would you believe him? I mean, everybody saw with their own eyes Moshe going up on the mountain. But nevertheless, Korach is full of jealousy, and suddenly it outbursts. It comes out. When does it come out? Why? What suddenly got him ignited? I mean, time passed. This is a year and a half after they went out of Mitzrayim. What caused Korach to suddenly burst into, I mean, he was jealous of course before, but something happened that he went out publicly with it. What exactly happened? The commentary of the Ramban says it came right after the story with the spies. The spies ignited it because the political stand, so to say, of Moshe was shaken at the time of the spies. Because Moshe Rabbeinu sends them, then they come back and they go against Moshe Rabbeinu also. And they say, no, we can't conquer the land. And they cause the first insecurity in the nation. Now, the power of Moshe Rabbeinu as a leader is questioned because Moshe Rabbeinu is gung-ho. We're going into Eretz Israel. We're going to conquer the land. Suddenly the spies come and they say, wait a minute, we might not be able to conquer the land. So now Moshe Rabbeinu's power is a little bit questionable. Then Korach comes out. Now's the time to attack, because now the whole nation is under stress. And that's where he comes out and he says, whoa, now that the dirt is being exposed on this man, let me tell you what his agenda is. And now he goes full force against him. And he knows that Moshe is vulnerable right now because the nation is not so looking up to him anymore, because he was leading them into Eretz Israel as a leader. They all had faith in him, and then comes the 10 men and say, don't believe him, we're not going to be able to conquer the land. So Korach jumps on the opportunity and he seized the moment. Now, there is a commentary by the Ibn Ezra, and he says something very, very interesting, that just that from that commentary one can really learn how to deal with jealousy. And the Ibn Ezra says that you only are jealous of somebody that is close to you. You're not jealous of somebody that has nothing to do with you. You're not jealous right now of some random person in Taiwan that is selling some product on eBay and he's making money. You don't even know him. You're jealous of somebody who's next to you. Your siblings, your parents, your anybody who's close to you. Somebody who's far away from you, you're not jealous right now of the president of Qatar. You don't even know who he is. So what if he's the president of Qatar? You are only going to be jealous of somebody that is very parallel to you, the same path. If you are in law school and you want to graduate number one, the one who gets number one and you got number 10, you are jealous of him because you wanted to be number one. If you have a business and who are you going to be jealous of? The one who's your competitor, because you want to be the better one. So according to this commentary of Ibn Ezra, we are only going to be jealous of somebody that is very close to me, it's in my face. And this is exactly what was with Korach. Korach is a cousin, and he's growing up with Moshe Rabbeinu, and from childhood, and then suddenly Moshe grows and grows and grows and grows, and he kind of feels that he stayed behind. Now really, when you're thinking of it, he had everything that he wanted. Why are you jealous? You are a millionaire. You have everything you want. You have kids, you have family, you have health, everything. Why this nonsense? So what do they answer Korach? Korach comes and he starts stirring everything up. What do you answer to a Korach? What do you do? Now, the Torah is trying to present something to me. Don't forget that with the Torah is selecting certain situations from the past. So the Torah chose to choose this scene that almost the entire parasha is dealing with this problem. So obviously the Torah is trying to present something here. The Torah is not telling me many things. You know, you open the Midrashim, you'll see so much more information, and someone say, well, why didn't the Torah talk about it? Because there's no room to talk about everything. Not too long ago we talked about it. It was in the men's class. We talked about the mitzvah of pru and vu, and I said that in order to do the mitzvah of pru and vu, of being fruitful and multiple, then you have to have a boy and a girl. So somebody mentioned and said, well, Avraham Avinu didn't do that mitzvah. And I said, why are you saying that? He says, well, you only had boys. He says, who said he only had boys? Avraham Avinu had a daughter. Really? Avraham Avinu had a daughter? Yeah, it's written in the Midrash that he had a daughter. Hashem birach et Avraham bakol, Her name was Bakol. Avraham got a blessing. He also got a daughter. When Sarah died, if you're looking in the parasha, in Parashat Chayei Sarah, there's one letter in the word Livkota. As one letter is very, very small. The kaf is small. And the Midrash explains that if you remove the kaf, you're left with the word Bita, her daughter. Sarah and the daughter of Avraham Avinu died the same day. And Avraham Avinu came to mourn both of them. So, and he buried both of them. So Avraham Avinu had a daughter, and her name was Bakol. And when we mentioned that, this week we're going to celebrate Rosh Chodesh. There's a certain line that we read after Hallel. What do we say? V'Avraham zaken ba bayamim, v'Hashem berach et Avraham bakol. Avraham was elderly in age, but also in wisdom, and Hashem blessed him with everything. Bakol means everything, but that was the name of his daughter. So Avraham Avinu had a daughter. The Torah doesn't go out of its way to tell you that. You know, we just talked about Cain and Hevel. Everybody thinks that Adam and Chava only had Cain and Hevel. Cain was born with a twin sister, and Hevel was born with two twin sisters. Doesn't say in the Torah. You know, don't go so far. The 12 tribes, where everybody thinks that Yaakov has 13 kids. 12 tribes and Dinah. But every tribe was born with a twin girl. Yaakov Avinu has 25 kids. So the Torah doesn't go and tells you many things. So if the Torah is already coming and telling you a detail and almost a whole parasha on one scene, on one problem, obviously the Torah is trying to present something here. Now comes a bigger question. Is jealousy a good thing? Because I said already, everybody has jealousy, and everything that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created has a purpose. Now one comes and says, is jealousy a good thing? Is it a good thing to be jealous? Now, in general, the answer is no. Jealousy is not a good thing. There's a Mishnah in the Tractate Avot that it says that jealousy, kin'ah, te'ava, any type of desire that is forbidden, and kavod, and honor, motzim et ha'adam min ha'olam, that will cause a person to die. So again, jealousy, forbidden lusts, and running after honor and respect, that will cause a person to die. So obviously, kin'ah, jealousy is a bad thing. If you want a remedy for a short life, then you can apply jealousy. Because what's the problem with jealousy? Jealousy doesn't have an end. And usually if you want something for a long life, it will have a limit, an end. Jealousy doesn't have an end. Why? Because now I will be jealous of you that you have a nicer car. I will go out of my way to get this nicer car. Now I'm going to be jealous of you because you have a nicer home. So I'll go out of my way to do whatever to get a better home. Then I'll be jealous of you because you have a more attractive wife. And jealousy that doesn't have an end. I will go after one stop, another stop, and another stop. You don't get satisfied with when you get something. If you're jealous of something that you don't have, and you'll never have it, doesn't matter what you're going to do. Hashem has a portion for you, and whatever doesn't belong to you, you will never get. So there's no end to jealousy. So if you want to have a remedy for a short life, then you start applying jealousy. But really, what's the essence? What's the root of the jealousy? Why is a person what causes a person to be jealous? The root of jealousy is that I want to have more. I want to have more. I'm not happy with what I have. I have 100, I want now 200. I have 300, I want 600. I have a 4-bedroom house, now I want a 6-bedroom house. I have a 2017 BMW, I want a 2018 because the new model came out. I have an iPhone 7, I want an iPhone 8. This is our nature. We constantly want more. We don't know how to be happy with the little that we have. So that causes me to be jealous because I constantly look around and you have something I don't have, and you have something I don't have, and you, and everybody has something that I don't have. But on the other hand, we mentioned so many times that the Kadosh Baruch Hu created everything with pairs. Shlomo Melech says, "Ze l'umat ze bara Elokim." Kadosh Baruch Hu created one thing opposing the other. So if there's something on the positive side, there's going to be something on the negative side. And the same way the other way around. So if there's Kadosh Baruch Hu already created jealousy, must be that there's a positive jealousy. And there is. We do find in the Talmud, in the tractate Baba Batra, that it says, Kinat sofrim tarbe chokhmah. If you have jealousy of a scholar, it will cause you to be smarter. Now, we see here that the Torah is actually promoting positive jealousy. Because if I'm now sitting, there is the example that the Talmud gives is that there's a town, and in this town there's a melamed, an educator. Once they didn't have big schools like now. Once there was a melamed, somebody would be an educator, I will pay him, he will come and teach my kid Torah. Now what happens? Excuse me, this is the example that the Talmud gives. There's a town, and in this town there's a melamed, an educator, and he grows older and older, and he becomes a little bit more boring, and he's not so exciting anymore. And it's a job. Comes a new young guy, fresh blood, all excited, and he comes and he twists and he makes everything more exciting, and the kids love him, and he comes and he, fresh air. Now comes the question, is the young educator, the teacher that comes into the town, is he crossing his boundaries? This is called hasagat gvul. Is he going into the boundaries of the other one? Because now he's coming and he's taking all the business to him. Everybody wants to send their kids to this guy. And now, because why? Because it's making it more exciting. The older guys, all boring way, repeat after me. And the younger guy comes and he comes with a new iPad, I don't know what it is. He comes with something more exciting. So he's now more popular. So comes the question here, is the younger one crossing his boundaries with the older one? And the answer to this scenario, the Talmud says no. It's good. He's not doing anything wrong, the younger one. Because you know what it's going to cause? It's going to cause the older one to be jealous of him. How is he explaining the material so amazing? How is he coming with all these new ways of educating? And this jealousy will cause him to start becoming better and to work on himself. If I'm sitting now in a class, and this is something that happens very often, and we learn here every day with the men, we learn Gemara. And Gemara is not so easy to understand. Sometimes you sit in the class and I see the people looking at me like, what the hell is he talking about? And I know that I was in that place, that I would sit in the class and look at the rabbi and be like, I don't even understand one word of what he's saying. I don't understand what's going on here. Sometimes there's all these arguments, there's disagreements in the sugiyot, and they're pulling information from this source and from this page, and sometimes you don't find yourself there and you're lost. And like, what is he talking about here? And there's always going to be the one that's like, wow, unbelievable, it's amazing. And you're like, how did he get it? How come I don't get it and he got it? But when I see somebody else that is getting it, this jealousy causes me, okay, you know what, I'm going to sit now for another 2 hours and really learn it to the depth so I can understand that. This is called kinat sofrim. That I see somebody else that is doing something very good and it's causing me to become better. And this is a very positive jealousy. A negative jealousy is that I'm looking at you and I want what you have. This is negative, nothing good's come out of it. But what is a positive jealousy? That I see you doing something amazing, very successful, and I'm looking at you and the jealousy, you know what it causes me? To become better. Now I'm starting to work on myself. I have nothing to do with you, I'm working on myself. And this is what the Torah says in the Talmud, that the Torah is promoting jealousy. It's good jealousy. But this is a positive jealousy. And just remember, the term is called kinat sofrim. Kin'ah is jealousy. Sofrim is somebody who is a chacham, a scholar, a sage. When I'm jealous of somebody like that, it causes me to become better. So Rashi explains specifically on that part, what was the reaction of Moshe Rabbeinu? Moshe Rabbeinu now is the politician, lehavdil, chas v'shalom. I'm not calling Moshe Rabbeinu a politician, but in the argument right now, and everybody is looking now at Moshe Rabbeinu and saying, okay, give us an answer. Now you have here a person that is pointing a finger at you. Give us an answer. What do you have to say for your protection, Mr. Moshe? So what is the result? What is the reaction of Moshe Rabbeinu? Rashi says, what was the reaction of Moshe Rabbeinu? Korach didn't come and say, I'm demanding to get him off his job. That's not what Korach was saying. Korach was a very smart individual. He knew that if he's going to come and demand Moshe to resign, this is not going to work well, because Moshe Rabbeinu will still have followers. So that's not what he did. Korach was a little bit more smarter. He didn't say, I think Moshe Rabbeinu should be fired or resign. You know what he says? All of us can be a Moshe Rabbeinu. Kol ha'eda kedoshim. That's what he said. He came into Moshe Rabbeinu and says, why you're saying you are the only one? We're all holy. We all stood in Har Sinai and saw Hashem, and we heard the visions and saw the sounds. Not only you. So Korach is being very manipulative, and he's not saying, I think I'm the best candidate. That would cause people to be like, why you? So Korach is very smart, and he says, no, I'm not saying we have to replace Moshe. I'm just saying all of us can replace Moshe. You choose, let's make a vote. Let's make a campaign. You want to be a Moshe Rabbeinu? You want to be? Maybe you want to be. I think everybody can be a Moshe Rabbeinu. So, from that, what do we see here? We come for the same question. Is jealousy a positive thing or jealousy is a negative thing? Because one can take this approach of Korach and say, hey a minute, maybe jealousy is good. Now it's going to cause everybody to want to be leaders. So there is something to take from it, a message here. Very interestingly, I'm sure you notice it at least once or twice, if not 100 times. You go to a doctor, you go to the hospital, you go to the pharmacy. I'm sure you notice that the symbol of health is a snake. You have a stick and a snake around it. And this is international. Everywhere you go, this is the symbol of health. Why? Why a snake on a pole is the symbol of health? You know that in many places, not only in Judaism, snake is considered the most lowest of all the animals. He goes on his stomach, he's evil, he's sneaky. You know, even our sages say, you know what's the difference between a snake and another animal? If a fox or a wolf will go now into a chicken coop and he's hungry, what do you want from him? He's hungry. So how many chickens will he kill? As many as he needs to satisfy himself, right? A snake will go into a chicken coop and bite them all, with no reason. He doesn't even eat them. They're too big for him to eat, but he'll still bite them. This is how low a snake is. That's what our sages say. And to such an extent that most people hate snakes. They're afraid of snakes. Why would that animal, that we relate to this animal, this connotation of evil and sneaky, I don't know if it's really said, in English you also use it. In Hebrew, if you want to define somebody as somebody sneaky, you tell him, he's a nachash there, he's a snake. Somebody who's sneaky and tricky and is manipulative. I think in English you also say this person's a snake. Nevertheless, why would the snake be the symbol of health? Now where does this come from? In Parashat Chukat, as usual, the nation of Israel like complaining, like causing problems, but this is already almost towards the end of the 40 years. What we learned last week about the spies, and the week before that with the meat and the fish, this is already in the beginning. But Chukat, it's at the end of the 40 years, and they complained. What happened was a plague. Snakes came and bit all of them. Everybody got bit by snakes. Everybody was dying. Moshe Rabbeinu turns to Hashem, what should I do for this big attack? Hashem tells him, take a snake, put it on a stick of copper. Anybody who looks up at the snake will be saved. That's what you're telling me? Put a picture of, I don't know what, the picture of Moshe Rabbeinu. Why are you putting a snake? I mean, put something, you go now to people's houses or to a yeshiva, they put a picture of their rabbi. The people you go to their houses, you see pictures of tzaddikim. Why are you putting a picture of a snake? A snake itself? This is what everybody has to look up to a snake, and he tells them, put it on a very high pole, that everybody looks up to look at the snake, and that's what's going to heal them. So why put the snake? What's the concept of the snake here? There is a very interesting commentary. This was said by the Baal HaTanya, and he says something very, very deep here. Specifically, this is not from this parasha. He has a commentary on that, on the Parashat Chukat. Why the snake? Why put the snake? I think would make much more sense. Maybe put a picture of Moshe Rabbeinu or something holy. Putting a picture of something impure. He says here, when you have a problem, when you have a challenge, or difficulty in your life, what we call in Hebrew tzarot. They say in a Yiddish action, tzuris. When you have problems, you have to look at the problems from above, not to look at them straight. Rather, you have to look at the problems from above. What does it mean to look at the problems from above? When I have a problem, I'm looking at the problem, and I'm like, what do I say? What does Hashem want from me? What did I do? Why did I deserve it? Why is that person being mean to me? Why is this not working out? I'm not looking at it from the vision from above. Hashem tells you, I'm giving to you a challenge. Elevate yourself for a second to my level. Try to understand how I'm looking at it. Not me, Hashem. Hashem says, there is a challenge right now. Don't look at it from your place. Rise yourself above and look at it from above, like as if you're sitting next to me, next to the cockpit of Hashem. What am I trying to tell you? When there's a challenge, Hashem is trying to tell me something. When there's a difficulty, when there's something going on in my life, it's not a punishment. It's not a slap to my face. It's Hashem telling me, in other words, I'm trying to get your attention. I'm trying to tell you something. The same way, this is the explanation, the same way is in regards to jealousy. If I have jealousy, I have to right away, not to look at it, oh, I want what that person has. Let me look at it from a little bit more of a higher level, to see if it's something good or something bad. If from this story right now, is this going to derive something positive or is it going to derive something negative? If it derives something negative, then obviously it's not a good jealousy. But if it's going to cause something positive, then it's a good jealousy. Now there is a story about, there were two brothers. Happens to be they were great tzaddikim, but the story goes on when there were two little kids. Happened to be that the older brother was shorter in height, and the younger brother was higher he was taller. And the older brother didn't like it, that everybody thought that the younger brother is the older brother, he's higher, taller than him. One day he tells him, listen, I'm going to dig a hole in the ground, and I want you to stand in the hole in the ground. That way you're going to be lower than me, and I'm going to be taller than you. The mother overheard the two boys talking, and she came, and she was a wise woman, and she told the older brother, what are you doing? He says, well, my brother is taller than me, I want to be taller than him. So she was like, well, if you have a problem with his height, instead of putting him down, why don't you stand on a stone? Put yourself higher. Don't put him down. Make yourself higher. And this is exactly the message. Don't bury your brother. That's what she told him. Don't bury your brother. And sometimes there's jealousy that it's between me and another person. So what would the jealousy cause me? To put you down. Because I'm jealous of you. You're successful, you're more wealthy, your business is going well, whatever it is. What would it cause me? To put you down. That's a Korach. He was jealous of Moshe, so he was putting him down. But there's also a type of jealousy that I learn from you. And if I see you doing very well, I'm like, wait a minute. He's obviously doing something good. Let me see what he's doing. Let me see what he's doing. Let me see what I can do to get better. How can I get better in this situation? Instead of me going now on a whole agenda to put you down, this is a very negative jealousy. But if that jealousy is causing me to like, wait a minute, let me check what's going on with me. Maybe my behavior is wrong, and it's going to cause me to be much, much better. This is called competitive. Then this is a very good jealousy, because it's causing me to elevate myself. I don't care about you. I'm not going against you. I'm not trying to hurt you in any way. Your success is causing me to think 10 times now, if she can do it, why can't I do it? Motivational. Exactly. It's motivational, it's competitive, it's healthy. This is good jealousy. That's why when the Balatani comes and says the whole story with the snake, don't look at it like this. Don't look at it like this, how is it affecting me in a negative way. Try to figure out what does Hashem want from me. When I have a challenge, Hashem wants something from me. He wants my attention. Why do you think it is a challenge? To punish me? You think Hashem is sitting in Shamayim with a notebook and saying, okay, let me torture her today? Hashem says, I want to give you a sign. Hashem is not going to come and reveal himself to you. So the challenge, the difficulty, whatever you have to go through is a message from Hashem that comes and tells you, hello, get your act together. You're not doing so great. You're not doing 100%. So the same thing here is with the jealousy. I have to analyze the jealousy the exact same way. If I go back again to the challenge, the Kadosh Baruch Hu, let's say I'm failing with Lashon Hara. Chas v'shalom. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu will put a challenge in my life that will hint that this is where I'm failing. So the Kadosh Baruch Hu can tell me, listen, you're not doing so great in the department of Lashon Hara. Just close your mouth. So the challenge will come, just to give you one wild example out of many, so I'll start getting my toothache. So I'm going to think that I'm being now punished. Hashem is saying, no, I'm telling you, there's a problem in your mouth. So your mouth is causing you pain. So close your mouth. Maybe you're talking too much. And this is one example out of many. I get a ticket, and then I get another ticket, and then another ticket. It's not a punishment. Hashem is telling me, listen, you are maybe dealing wrong with money. Maybe you're doing gezel. Maybe you're stealing money. Maybe you owe somebody money. Maybe you made a vow and you tell somebody you're going to help them with money and you didn't. So Hashem is sending you a hint. This is how we have to look at it. This is why the Nachash, the snake, was specifically on a pole, because Moshe Rabbeinu was trying to tell them, look up. Look up. What is biting you? The snake is biting you. So we need to look at challenges, to look up, what is Hashem hinting to me? The same lesson I need to learn from is when it comes to jealousy. If I'm looking at you right now, and jealousy is being aroused, I need to right away stop and say, what is causing me to be jealous? Because I want what you have, this is a negative jealousy. But if that jealousy says to me, oh, you know what? I'm going to be now better. I'm going to now go and work harder. I'm going to work on myself. I'll do whatever I need to do because I want to balance myself with you. Then this is a very healthy jealousy because it's causing me to be much better as long as I don't harm you in any type of a way. And this is exactly the difference between a good jealousy and a negative jealousy. Now, when there's a negative jealousy, you know what will cause me to do? To wish for you to fail. This is how you detect it. If the jealousy is negative, my agenda was I will wish for you, chas v'shalom, for you to fail. It's like me having a business, you opening the same business in front of me, and all day long I pray that a missile should hit your store, a flood, whatever, the IRS should come and take you. This is bad jealousy because I'm wishing something bad for you. But instead of that, if this is what's causing me the jealousy, you have to worry about yourself. Don't worry about chas v'shalom hurting somebody else. Worry about yourself. If I see something is poking me, something is agitating me, annoying me, then this should arouse me to be like, okay, how am I now becoming better? You know, I told you many years ago, I had a business. I was a wedding photographer. When I came into the industry, there wasn't a lot of photographers in the religious world, and I came in like a storm with a whole new approach. Everybody was these, the traditional wedding photographers that they do poses like that. Everybody was sick of it already. And I was a young Baal Tshuva with a completely different attitude, and the pictures were very creative and artistic and different, and wow, everybody's like, woo! And very quick I became like the number one. And of course it caused jealousy. So there were two photographers in the industry that we became very friends. They were mensch, we became friendly, we were switching jobs, and there was another two that they did everything they could just to put me down. And the normal ones, they would come and tell me, how did you do this? Where did you put your light to get that effect? So that was a healthy jealousy. They wanted to learn, you know what? They became very good photographers too. And it was funny because whatever I would do, then everybody was like a trend. But the other ones, they were just jealous to try to put me down. They stayed behind because the jealousy was just that why is he successful and not me? Why is his picture nicer than mine? Instead of saying, let me learn what this guy is doing. Maybe I'll take a course. Maybe I'll learn more techniques. Maybe I should change my attitude. And that's how I was. When I was in business, I was in many different types of businesses for many years. And when I would look at somebody else, it wouldn't cause me to be like, why is he successful than me? I would say, wait a minute, if he's doing well, must be that the market is healthy. Let me try to find other ways, more creative ways, to get to a point that I can be better. So it causes a very good attitude of competitive and so forth. But in a very positive way, of course. Now, so we need to, first of all, we have to separate between the bad and the good jealousy. Going back to the examples that we gave from the Torah, what did we mention as a bad jealousy in the Torah? Is Cain. Look at Cain. Look at that. There's seven people in the entire world. The whole world is yours. What are you jealous of? Because Hevel came with an offering, and Hashem turned to his offering. Instead of being pumped up with jealousy, why don't you just say, what should I do so my offering should be just as good and Hashem will turn to me? That's what you would think. But Cain was jealous. He couldn't help it, so he went and killed him. That was the result. That's what the Torah is coming to tell you. The jealousy, when it's negative, will cause you to kill, will cause you to go totally in that direction. Instead of thinking, what do I need to correct, he went and killed. Now, where do you see positive jealousy in the Torah? That would be very interesting if you're following what I'm saying. Where do we see positive jealousy that the Torah is mentioning a certain individual that was very jealous, and the Torah is giving credit to that? Can you think of any place in the Torah that it's talking about a very positive jealousy? You're nodding your head. What?
God is a jealous God.
No, I'm talking about an individual. Very good. You got the jackpot. Rachel.
Isn't having a negative jealousy of misnomer? What you're doing is really admiring the other person.
No, but it says, the Torah comes and says that Rachel was jealous of her sister.
Yes.
But you're right, that was a very healthy jealousy. She admired her sister. You remember the jealousy? First of all, Yaakov was supposed to be her husband. And then Leah got her. Then Leah is popping out one baby, another baby, another baby, another baby. And Rachel is like, what's going on here? My sister already has 6 babies, and I don't even have one. It caused her jealousy. But a very positive jealousy that the Torah says, Rachel kin'a b'maaseh atovim. She was jealous in her good deeds. Rachel was like, what is she doing, this lady? Wow, she's probably praying 2 hours shacharit. I'll pray 2 hours shacharit too. What is she doing, my sister? That she won the man, she has kids, she must be doing something good. Maybe she learns Tehillim. Maybe she learns, what is she doing? That was a very healthy positive. You're 100% right. It caused Rachel to bump it up. She saw Leah being so successful. She didn't say like, oh, look at her. Why is she having kids and I'm not? She says, Rashi says, Kin'a b'maaseh atovim. She was looking, what is she doing good? She must be doing something good. Hashem loves her prayer. And it caused Rachel to pray better. It caused Rachel to learn more, to be more honest, more tznuah, more, and so forth. So this is where the Torah comes and tells you, here's a good jealousy. Here's a positive jealousy. That you're looking at somebody else and you're saying, that person is very successful. Must be that Hashem loves their action. I'll do the same thing. I'll also wake up at 5 o'clock in the morning and go and pray in a minyan. And I'll learn 5 hours of Torah and I'll give charity and I'll do this and I'll do that. This is positive jealousy. And this is the answer, so to say, to Korach. And you know where the answer is? The answer to Korach, because we have a Korach in our generation where there's a Korach in us. Besides that, there's a Korach around us. There's always going to be the ones who are jealous. But even in me, there's a little Korach. But the answer to Korach, and that's what we want to get to, is right in this room. Look around at each other. We're all different. There's not one person in the universe that is identical to another person. Look around, just look around now, everybody. We're all different. Black hair, brown hair, light skin, dark skin, big eyes, blue eyes, big lips, small lips. We're all different. Even if it's in the same family, even if it's twins, there's not one person in the universe, billions of people, billions, because it's just this generation, there's 7-8 billion people. How about 50 years ago? How about 200 years ago? How about 400 years ago? You're talking here about billions and billions of people. There's not one replica. There's one duplication of one person. Everybody's different. And this is exactly the answer to Korach. We're all different. Everybody's different. Nobody of us is equal. But why? Why did Hashem do that? Wouldn't it be easier to just create, like, a certain a model? Let's make the model the 1974 model. Everybody's the same. I think it would be a little bit easier. We all have the same look, same name, same thing. Sometimes you're looking at animals, even though if you look very close, it's all different, but they all have the same pattern. They all look the same. So all the zebras, they have the stripes, and the giraffes, they have the patches. If you look very close, you see it's all different, but they have a certain pattern. One might question Hashem and says, why didn't you create us all equal? Wouldn't it make easier to keep count and to not to get confused? So for the ones who ever think, why did Hashem do that? And the answer is very simple. Because the world is like a puzzle, like a jigsaw puzzle. You have 1,000 pieces, 2,000 pieces, whatever amount of pieces, and every piece is completely different. The pieces are not equal. You can't switch a place of the puzzle piece, even though sometimes you're trying to bang it in, and like, no, it's not going to work, it's not going to go in there. Because that piece belongs here, and this piece belongs over there, and you can mix them. All the pieces are different. And the world is a puzzle, and there's a architecture to the world. Everything is planned here. Kadosh Baruch Hu had a plan before the world was created, and each and every one of us has a role. And each and every one of us, we talked about it yesterday, we have a mission. I came down here with a tafkid, with a role, and with a mission. And that's why it says, I hope that you maybe read a little bit the parasha before you came, or maybe yesterday in Mincha you already heard at least the beginning. The beginning of the parasha comes, it says that Korach comes and he gathers a few other shmegegs and he comes against Moshe Rabbeinu. And he comes and he says, who are you to think that you are above us? We're all holy. What does Moshe Rabbeinu right away says? First of all, it says Moshe Rabbeinu fell on his face and he cried. But Moshe Rabbeinu tells them, why don't you come tomorrow and we'll figure it out. What does Moshe tell them? Let's all take like a, I don't know if to call it a spatula or like maybe a pan. In Hebrew it's called machta. It's like these pans that they used to take and to put the ktoret in it. And he says, let's have a solution. Everyone will take like this little pan, and we're all going to offer incense. And the one that is holy, Hashem, will make his pan light up. Fair? No? But he tells them, let's do it tomorrow. Tomorrow in the morning. Why tomorrow? Why not now? Now is the time. No. Let's do it in the morning. Why are you pushing it to the morning? Wouldn't it make much more sense? Let's finish it right now. Now it's in the heat of the argument. Let's finish it right now. Moshe Rabbeinu says, no, come back in the morning. Why morning? Moshe wanted to say something very, very interesting. If you remember in the creation of the world was created with darkness. And after the darkness came the light. Vayi erev, vayi boker yom echad. First comes the night, then comes the day. And even how we count the days in our calendar, the day starts at night. And then comes the day. Moshe Rabbeinu comes and says, the reason why he says come in the morning, because he wanted to say the world, as much as we want the morning, the world also needs the night. Even the night is needed in the world, even the darkness. And he specifically says, come tomorrow when it's morning. Go and think about it a little bit, relax, let it process in your mind, and come in the morning when you're a little bit relaxed. Are you sure you want to do what you're suggesting? But between the lines, he's saying, you know what? We think that we only need one thing in this world. We need everything. Everything that Hashem created, we need. So we also need the darkness. So Moshe Rabbeinu says, come in the morning to teach you that the world also needs the night. It also needs the dark. Who wants the night? In the morning, sun is out, and everything is good. And who needs the night? Like people say, I hate the winter. But we need the winter. No, I wish it would be summer the whole year round. Why? Because it's fun, and the sun, and the beach, but we also need the winter. We need it for the nature system. Moshe Rabbeinu says, even though the night is dark, we relate to the night as darkness, as scare and fear, but we need that too. It's a time when you rest. It's a time when everything is coming down. So Moshe Rabbeinu is trying to promote here that we have to understand that there's a positive jealousy and a negative jealousy. And the whole point, the whole purpose, the whole message of this parasha, that the Kadosh Baruch Hu decided that He will dedicate an entire parasha for this whole story, is because we all meet the same challenge. Whether we do it on a daily basis, whether it's once in our life, but we all have jealousy. It's almost impossible not to. First of all, we have it built into us. So we're not talking today about anger and many other character traits that we need to know how to transform it. I can take almost anything negative and to transform it into something positive. They asked once Rabbi Shimon Bar Yochai, what is the purpose of the world? Why did Hashem bring us here? Why the structure of the world? Why like that? Why dafka that it souls into bodies and the mitzvot? And I can come up now with a whole new scenario how the world can be. But nevertheless, why? What's the purpose of the world? So he answered in one short sentence, Litkafya sidracha, is to subdue the other side of holiness. That's it. That's what you were created for. You are a machine, you are a wrestler, a boxer, whatever it is, a fighter, and your job in this world is to fight the other side of holiness and to subdue it. Why? What is the result? The result is hitapcha chashocha lenora, transforming the darkness into light. The world was created in darkness. That's how the world was created. I have to come now and to transform it into light. That's my purpose. So everything that Hashem gave me, even though it looks dark, it's for me to take it and to transform it into something light, to something positive. And the Zohar continues and it says, "Umeriru lemetiku," to take something bitter and to make it sweet. Just imagine what a beautiful thing is to take something dark and to make it something beautiful and light. Something bitter and to make something sweet. That's the purpose. That's what Hashem wants from us. So we have many different character traits. We have hate, and we have anger, and we have a lot of character traits that we need to know how to work with them and to refine them. You need to take your anger and to be very angry at the Yetzer Hara when the Yetzer Hara is making you fail. And take all your anger at the Yetzer Hara. And then we have jealousy. And the jealousy is not for me to be jealous because you have more than me. This is a very fine line of mamash heresy, I'm going against Hashem. I'm disagreeing with the role that the Kadosh Baruch Hu gave me. Because I told you, everybody has a role. And if Hashem made you the king, and you the prime minister, and you the vice president, and me just the delivery boy, that's what Hashem wants. That's the decision of Hashem. That's the role that I got. So the fact that I'm jealous of you, that you have something that I don't have, I'm basically saying to Hashem, in other words, I don't agree with you. I disagree with your decision. Your decision was A, I disagree. I'm not happy with the decision. That's going against Hashem. But the jealousy that was given to me is not to pull me to the negative side that I can recognize it, but me wanting to make you lower, is the jealousy is to motivate me. It's to get me out of bed. It's to get me a little bit more excited. To get me to be a little bit more competitive here, so I can work on myself. And you can take that to any area, to your spiritual refinement, to your business, to anything. To anything in your life, you can apply this jealousy in a very positive way. And like I mentioned, you can recognize it that when the agenda is to put somebody else down, this is a negative jealousy. When the agenda is to make you better, this is a very good jealousy. And I just need to know that when jealousy attacks, right away to stop. Like Moshe Rabbeinu, let's relax, come back in the morning. Let me think about it. How they say in English, I need to sleep over it. Sleep on it, sleep over it, however they say that. On it. Sleep on it. And in the morning make me make the decision. So if I'm now jealous, something arouses my jealousy. And I gave very few examples, but you use your own imagination. What causes them to be jealous is the person is more attractive than them, or they have a better taste in clothes, or whatever it is. No, I don't want to get into examples because it's irrelevant. You use your own imagination. But the second that you're struck with some type of jealousy, make a cut, take a rest, wait till the morning when things are lit up, when things are enlightened, not when it's dark, and you make an analogy. What is causing me now this jealousy? Now, if I know how to direct it to something positive, then I'm working on myself. So, and that's really what needs to apply. And if I see that my desire now is to put you down, then I already know that I'm going to be falling into the ground like Korach. At some point, the ground is going to open and swallow me into the ground. I'm building my own hole. So I need to take that, and because this is one of the most devastating things that I see amongst people is the jealousy. I see relationships and marriages and businesses and falling apart because of jealousy. Because he said and she said and he has and he's sitting closer to here. And I see it all the time, how jealousy is causing people to go so low, so disgusting. And it's horrible things. Whether I see it when I'm looking at other people, how they behave, and I see it on people when it's directed at me. And I see it, I don't understand. The one thing that I can thank Hashem 20 million times a day, I'm not jealous of people. I always knew how to be very happy with what I have. And if I'm not happy with what I have, this is a very, very negative things that one needs to really look deep down inside of them is what is causing me to be jealous? Why am I not happy with what Hashem gave me? I have to arouse this excitement saying, Hashem gave me so much. Yesterday night, I don't know if you noticed, there was guests here that came for Shabbat, and they spoke with me after Motzei Shabbat. And my wife told me, listen, you please maybe find some time to talk to them. This is the family that half a year ago, they were in a car accident. Apparently it was pretty known here in Israel. And they were in a car accident, and 2 kids in the car accident died, an 8-year-old and a 12-year-old. And I didn't ask too many questions. I think another 2 kids survived, or 3 kids survived. The mother almost died, was in intensive care for half a year. She was here on Shabbat. And the father also got severely injured. And now they're, of course, picking up the pieces. And they were here for Shabbat. And my wife was telling me, maybe you can talk to her, because she's very worried, because she's worried about the 2 kids that died, that their souls, and maybe they're happy, they're sad, where they are. Maybe you can talk to her. And we had I can't call it a nice conversation, but we had a nice conversation. And at some point I told her, no words will comfort you. Nothing I'm going to say, nobody can comfort you. I can only tell you that you should understand that the souls that came through you were souls of tzaddikim. Hashem obviously chose you to be the channel. Through you came these 2 kids. And there is a very good chance that before you came down to the world, you volunteered. There could be very much be that the Kadosh Baruch Hu says these 2 neshamot, these 2 souls have to come down to the world, but they're going to die when they're young. Is there anyone volunteering to be the parent? And it could very much be that you said in Shamayim, I'm volunteering, I'll take it. But nevertheless, no words will comfort your situation. But at least what needs to carry you for the rest of your life is that don't look at the 2 kids that died, look at the kids that stayed. And live for them, and they need a strong mother, and they need a strong father, and you need each other. And you know what? I told them, you don't even know how many thousands of people are looking at you and being inspired. People have a 5,000 shekel debt to the bank, and they think the world is colliding, and then they look at you, look at that. She just lost 2 kids, and she has a smile on her face, makes my problems look like that. After I spoke to them for about an hour and I came to my wife, I told her, and we think we have problems. We don't have problems. We have just challenges. So everything has to be done in the right proportion. But what I told her is, you just need to, don't look at the fact that the 2 kids left. Look at the fact that there are other kids that are here. Look at what you do have. You're still married. You got your health back. Unbelievable. Her ribs got crushed, so she was on machines for breathing for months because the ribs got crushed and punctured the lungs. And the husband, I didn't go into the whole medical, but I saw that her whole face was scars, her neck was full of scars. I'm sure the whole body is full of scars. And I'm like, listen, of course this is a tragedy, but you survived. So look at what you do have. And you know what? You need to appreciate what you have. And I looked at them yesterday and I literally told my wife, I came to my wife after the conversation and I hugged her and I told her, we don't have problems. We don't have problems. And I'm looking at other people and it says, this but we don't have nothing. So what would cause me to be jealous of somebody? So people are jealous of somebody because they have money. So what if they have money? They have issues, they have health problems, marital problems. Why are you jealous? Because of the car? You're jealous because of the store? You're jealous because of the blonde hair? What are you, I'm saying blonde hair because one of my daughter has blonde hair and the other daughter is jealous because she has nice long hair and she has short hair. So, what are you jealous of? Are you jealous of a little bit of hair? So, this is where we need to do in Hebrew we call it a bedek bait, a house check. Jealousy comes and tingles inside of you, stop. Say, why am I jealous? Let me see first what do I have. And let's go through all the list of what I have. Then let me go back to why am I jealous? Why am I jealous? Because that person has a little bit more than me, but I have 10 times more here. And if you really look at what you have, you'll see you have much more than many others, and probably more than what the person you are jealous of. So I need to take this powerful tool. I told you already in the beginning, Hashem gave us an engine, a very powerful engine. And this engine is jealousy. But use this engine to something positive to inspire yourself, for you to grow, for you to become stronger, for you to refine yourself, and to see if what somebody else does and says, that should inspire me now to become much more than what I am right now, instead of looking at the other person and putting them down. So B'ezrat Hashem, we should really take this profound message of this parasha and to take it to consideration, and to live by it, and to understand that I constantly need to look up. What does Hashem want for me? What does Hashem really want when He puts this challenge? Why is Hashem showing me something? And not only that, is how am I refining myself, that my vision, so to say, is constantly, how am I getting better, and getting better, and getting better? And you know, I spoke with my father on Friday. Baruch Hashem, I'm busy all the time. I don't have time all the time to call my parents. So my mom was hinting to me, listen, call your father, he didn't hear from you for a while. Don't call him only for the business questions. So, and I was like, she's right. Once I had more time, I used to call, and now he's getting older. He needs to hear from me more often. I called him and we had a nice conversation. So I told him, how are you? So he says, Baruch Hashem. So he says, how's with you? I told him, everything's okay. So he quoted one of his friends that every time you ask him, how are you? He tells him, better than yesterday. So I said, this is a good answer. Better than yesterday. That should be the attitude. Today is a much better day than yesterday. What can I achieve today that I didn't do yesterday? If today is equal to yesterday, I'm standing in the same spot. If today has to be better than yesterday, then what am I doing today to go one step higher? So I need to use the engine of jealousy to cause me to go one step higher and another step higher, and that's how I grow, and I end up becoming who I'm supposed to be, to fulfill the position, the tafkid, the role that Hashem gave me. If I'm just looking how to put you down, I'm not performing my role. I need to look just at myself, not to look at other people. That's how I really perform my role. That's how I do my mission in this world. Needless to say that I reach to my rectification, and no need to say how I'm making the world a much better place.